I made Hinata Hyuga in Dungeons & Dragons 3.5. Hey everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my next video. Today, as I said, we are going to be making Hinata Hyuga in Dungeons & Dragons 3.5. So let's just get right into this. Alright, so as you can see here, we got our girl Hinata up there. Got all her stats, 16 years old, 100 pounds, 5'3", got all that metric for all you non-Americans out there. Lawful good, medium. He's level 20, second level monk, second level fighter, first level sword sage, 10th level warmind, and 5th level shadow sun ninja. Very potent combination. As you can see, oh, she's also an Elan. Very nice. Got a decent amount of health, 175. Not the greatest, but you know, it's decent. Largely just because her con's not the best. Mostly just has it from items, so not so great. Her strength's pretty bad. Hinata's not really known for hitting that hard, but look at that dex. 18 base, 34 with all the items. So good. Then looking, you got all her other base scores. She only got an 8 con, but 2 from her race because of Elan. So it's only a 6, not con, charisma. Because, you know, Hinata's very shy. Makes a lot of sense. Wisdom, quite high. Very high for her. I mean, she's very perceptive. Intelligence, reasonable, but not great. But Dex is freaking amazing. Hinata is crazy graceful, and we really incorporated that. 13 initiative, that's kind of insane. We're looking over here, we got her AC. 52, that's kind of crazy. She's got 8 armor. She actually can make it higher because she actually can cast shield with her Warmind powers and get that even higher. Got 12 dex, nothing with size, natural armor, just with items. Then she's got a +5 from deflection from a ring, and then 12, that's mostly from her wisdom. That's just all monk buffs. Crazy high saves. I mean, look at that. 25, 33, 25. Those are really crazy high saving throws. Like, that's ridiculous. Here, if you click this little flat foot, if we click the flat foot button, you can see what her flat foot AC and her flat footed touch AC is. Took a little bit to update, but not terrible. Even flat footed touch is 27, which is pretty solid. You can see over here, you got all of her stats, or all of her attacks. Her melee, it's using dex because of feats. Ranged, is that the same? Grapple, yeah, that one's going to be using strength. Now you got unarmed strike doing crazy damage. It's, you know, 34, 29, 24, 19, but actually it's 3 of them, so it's 3 34s, then 29, then 24, then 19. I had to just make a note of that there. She can also take a -2 in order to add an extra attack on top of that. So kind of crazy. Each attack's doing 2d10 plus 9 damage. Absolutely ridiculous. This is all mostly not being used. But here we see her land speed, 50 feet. Quite impressive, largely from monk stuff. Then up here we can see all her skills. +20 in auto hypnosis, largely just because you don't got a lot of choices with Warmind, but kind of makes sense for her. High balance, just because of her dex. Look at that concentration. You buff that up a lot in Warmind because literally those are about the only 2 worthwhile skills in that class. Escape artist, very high. She's got a decent number of ranks. She has hide, pretty high. A lot of that is just from a high dexterity. I don't think she has. She only has a couple of ranks, not a ton. You can see she's got move silently, 17 ranks, mostly or 17, largely just from ranks. Although I think she has, yeah, she has largely just from dex. She does have some ranks though. You can see up here, she has some knowledge in history and, in history and psionics, and those were just to get into Warmind. Of course, listens decent, moves silently, as we said. She has ride, but that's just because dex. If you look, spot is crazy high, max ranks in that because, you know, Byakugan. Of course she's going to be able to see things well, and, you know, decent tumble, decent number of ranks. So yeah, that's the base sheet there. Now, if we look at the abilities and possessions she has, you can see all her various feats. Monastic Straining, Stunning Fist, Combat Reflexes. She has Knowledge, Devotion, Psionics, Weapon Finesse, Power Attack, Weapon Focus, Shadow Hand, that's from one of her classes. Tasha Torah, that makes it so that Warmind is going to be adding all her monk stuff, very good. Expanded Knowledge Touch Sight, that makes it so that you can have the Power Touch Sight, which is very good, very reminiscent of the Byakugan. She has Cleave that just goes really well with some of the other stuff, Robar's Gambit and Snap Kick. So this is giving her lots of options when it comes to attacks of opportunity. Very, very big. You come up over here, you're looking at Flurry of Blows, Unarmed Strike, Evasion, which is just crazy good, especially with that reflex save. She's not getting hit by a reflex save. She has Chain of Personal Superiority, Chain of Defense, decent stuff. Enduring Body, which gives her some damage reduction. Sweeping Strike. Sweeping Strike is huge. Basically, anytime she attacks, she can attack 2 adjacent enemies. Chain of Overwhelming Force, kind of okay. Touch of the Shadow Sun, Flame of the Shadow Sun, Light Within Darkness, Dark Within Light, just some Shadow Sun Ninja stuff, and Quick to Act. That gave her a +1 to her initiative, which is why it was 1 higher than her dexterity. Yeah, she doesn't even have improved initiative, and she has a 13. It's kind of crazy. From her race, you can see she's an aberration. She has resistance, resilience, and depletion. Pretty important stuff. She's got some interesting gear here. She has her, you could put this as her headband, Necklace of Wisdom +6, Health +6, Natural Armor +5, and natural attacks with Ghost Touch, Mighty Cleaving, Collision, and Speed +1. So a lot of stuff. That's why she's getting the extra attack, why she's doing a little more damage with her attacks. She's also paid to have, it's not really marked anywhere. She did buy +5 to her dex and a +4 to her wisdom. And she also paid to have Greater Magic Fang cast, Greater Magic Fang +5 cast permanently on her. So she's got that. On top of that, she has the Mutt Belt, which gives her a little bit more AC, and that's why her damage dice is as high as it is. Otherwise, it'd be slightly lower. She has a Cloak of Resistance +5, Bracers of Armor +8, Gloves of Dexterity +6, Ring of Freedom of Movement and Protection +5, and a Ring of X-Ray Vision. So, you know, she can see X-Ray Vision. She's got a lot of really good sight things. I mean, that Byakugan's pretty powerful. In terms of currency, she's pretty low. I used almost all the money. You look over here at buffs, not too much that's showing. This is just sort of, not sure how much of this is actually relevant. So she has Monk's AC, Monk's Speed, Quick to Act, Weapon Focus, and Collision, Enduring Body, Character of Wisdom, Amulet of Health. She's got that. That doesn't even fit. Permanent, you know, all her level adjustments and racial modifiers. So she's got all that. Those ones are her inherent ones from the book she read. Kind of just shown there. So that's the basic stuff. You can kind of see the basics there. But yeah, I think I did a decent job so far with that, with including a lot of her stuff that she has in the show, a lot of stuff with the Byakugan, and a lot of like visual stuff because she has Byakugan. She's very good at seeing things. On top of that, very, very graceful. Lots of stuff that you can do with an AOO, attack of opportunity. I mean, Hinata is very graceful. Even Neji has pointed that out on multiple occasions. So I went really hard on dexterity and movement and making her really, really agile and able to just get a lot of attacks and just be incredibly graceful. So that's what I've pushed really hard with this so far. Get into some of her maneuvers and powers. So as you can see, she is going to get some maneuvers and powers because she does have a level of Sword Sage and Shadow Sun Ninja. So that's going to give her some maneuvers. And she's also a War Mind 10th level, so she's going to get some powers as well. So let's look over here at maneuvers. And you can see as maneuvers, she has Island of Blades and Shifting Defense. Island of Blades is kind of useful. Probably not going to be using it as much, but basically it makes it so that anytime she's adjacent to somebody, and so is one of her allies, then she's flanking. So can be quite useful. Shifting Defense, you can use anytime somebody misses her with an attack. She can use an AOO, or she can use an attack of opportunity attempt in order to just move 5 feet. So that's kind of nice, being able to just move around a bunch. It's very useful. In terms of abilities, she has Shadow Jaunt, Drain Vitality. Shadow Jaunt will let her move 50 feet. I think it's a standard action, but you know, it is what it is. She has Drain Vitality, so she can attempt to do con damage. She has a really high wisdom score, so could be useful. She has Clever Positioning, which will let her switch spots with her opponent, playing really high into gracefulness. Countercharge, if someone comes charging at her, she can, you know, send it so that they don't hit her and instead move somewhere else. She has Cloak of Deception, which will let her be invisible for the turn during her turn. Mountain Hammer, if she ever needs to break some sort of physical object, she can. A Mirrored Pursuit, this will allow her to, if somebody's trying to flee from her, she can move in response to make it basically impossible for them to flee from her. And she has Scorpion Parry, which will make it so that if someone attacks her, she can make it so that they attack one of their allies instead. So quite useful. And she has Shadow John, Scorpion Parry, Countercharge, Clever Positioning, and Mirrored Pursuit readied. Are the ones that she typically will keep ready. Although she can very easily change. It takes like a full round action. So fairly limited. I mean, she only had one level of Sword Sage. A lot of this came from that. And then for 5 levels of Shadow Sun Ninja, honestly didn't grant much. It granted her 1 stat, and it granted her 2 maneuvers. So not really a lot, but some good ones because she was fairly high initiator level. So yeah. Now if we look at her powers, she doesn't have a ton, but she has 112 power points. So she has 70 from her class, and then I just wrote 72 because she gets 2 from Alon, so I just kind of put that there. She hasn't used any, so power points available from ability score is 40. She has a high wisdom. Put that as War Mind. The other one I didn't mark because it's equally Shadow Sun Ninja as it was. It's equally Shadow Sun Ninja as it was Sword Sage. So in terms of power, she has Elf Sight, useful for sight. Force Screen. Again, this is the one I was talking about where she can use in order to give herself a shield. So can be useful. Hustle, she can use a swift action to gain a move action. So if she manifests Hustle, then she can, as a swift action, then she gets 2 move actions that turn, so she can move and then full attack with her 8 attacks. Absolutely insane. Empathetic Transfer Hostile, very powerful. She could use that if she wanted to take any wounds she have and put them on someone else. Could be useful. Touch Sight, use the feet in order to gain this. This gives a lot of sight abilities. Makes it very useful, very fitting with Hinata and her Byakugan. She has Psionic Dimension Door, so if she wanted to, she can use Dimension Door in order to get around. Psycho Feedback, so if she's in a situation where she really needs to push herself, she can. She can drain any stat in order to up any of her physical stats. So if she needed to push herself, this will help her do it. So if she needs to go past and beat up somebody that she needs to do more damage, like she's just not hitting hard enough, they have high DR, she can up that strength and make her damage hit a little harder at the cost of some of her other abilities. If she's just finding she's not accurate enough, she can up that dex score if she really needs to. It's already crazy high, but she can. If she's in danger and she feels like she's going to die because she's just low on health, she can up that con score and get some temporary hit points from it, so she can like stay alive to finish the fight. Now, she's going to have to sacrifice other ability scores to do it, but she can. And this is, I think, very fitting for Hinata because she is very much the type who will push herself past her own limits. So I think that does a pretty good job. So yeah, let's see if we have anything else. So yeah, if we look here at levels, we can see how she was built. I don't know why these are coming up red. They really shouldn't be, but they are. But anyways, you can see the skills that I put in. As Monk, I was focusing on Hide, Spot, Escape Artist, Tumble, and Move Silently. I only had so many skills to work with. I felt those were probably the most appropriate for Hinata. I could have picked other stuff, but that's what I went with. Then when she got to be a fighter, her 2 levels of fighter, I started focusing on Knowledge Psionics. I took a feat in order to make that a class skill. At 3rd level, I couldn't do it until 3rd level, so we started just going heavy on that with all our skills and fighter going into that in order to make it so we can get into Warmind. Then Sword Sage, we put in a couple into Knowledge Psionics and also 2 into Knowledge History in order to meet our goals. And that eats up all of our skill points for Sword Sage. Yeah, it just wasn't a lot. Then once we finally got into Warmind, which we spent 3 levels qualifying for, just getting all the skills we needed, we are then able to start focusing on Warmind, and she just focused concentration for a while until she was able to max that out, at which point she started going with auto hypnosis, which helps out in a lot of ways, and I think it was necessary for one of her in order to get touch sight. Anywho, then in Shadow Sun Ninja, she starts going back into her more ninja stuff. She starts really focusing on Spot to get that Byakugan up, and then we wanted her escape artist pretty high because her grapples not the best. It's only 15. So we wanted to make sure she could get out if someone tried grappling her. So I felt it was a good idea to up that in order to try and help her get out of a grapple. That is Hinata Hyuga. I think I did a decent job capturing her. I mean, of course, I'm not going to do a perfect job, but I think having a high dexterity was super important for her. I think that having her charisma low was made a lot of sense. I mean, she is very, very shy, like painfully shy, the point where she just can't communicate, especially with Naruto. I can really see that making a lot of sense. Her strength being particularly low also makes some sense. She's not really a heavy hitter, but she's extremely graceful. Extremely graceful. I think I did a decent job with her. Anyways, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'm always curious. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. Subscribe for more Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 stuff. I'm going to do one of these on every single Naruto character as well, so definitely check that out. Down in the description below, I have a link to my Discord as well as to my Twitch, so check that out. But anyways, as always, I'm Mitch. I'll be seeing you